22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. You are tuned into the Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 340. We took a brief hiatus, and yes, we are back. And when I say we, yes, I mean...
Yes.
The man with the plan, he's back. Live and living color.
I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little echo, but we
yeah.
good.
All right, we'll work on that. Trying to figure that out.
Yeah, so Damon got a whole new studio set up in the lab, and
yeah, I think it's the cord. I gotta get another cord.
Yeah. So first, I just want to take the time to thank everyone who came out Thursday night for my official book launch at the Mount Vernon Public Library. Thank you to the Mount Vernon Public Library for allowing me to have it there. Thank you to Dr. Bob and Jeff Monroe. They have a Decipher author series once a month, and I was their July author. Thank you everyone who came out. Okay, the sound effects is working. Okay. Thank you everyone who came out, like County Executive George Latimer showed up. Former Bedford Town Supervisor Marianne Carr came through. Former County Legislator Ruth Waters came through.
Ruth Waters, great, man. That's great.
Yeah. And also shout out to brother Daryl Davis.
Daryl came through?
Not that Daryl.
Okay.
This passed from Greenberg and actually went to Woodlands High School.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you told me. Yeah.
Yeah. But he came up from Flatbush, Brooklyn, and brought his son. That was dope. That was dope.
That's dope.
And we had some local people in the house. I can't remember. Brian Johnson came through the Mount Vernon Corporation Council. Eric Crump, Mount Vernon City Hall came through. And I think there were several others that came through. Lauren Carter was there, former Mount Vernon deputy clerk. And Kathy Webb from the library, she had like 10 or 15 of the youth there that she wanted to hear me speak. It was a great conversation. It was a great launch for the book. For those who don't know, I have a new book out, Black Westchester, The Origin Story and How My Faith Was Instrumental in This Great Experiment. We have another book signing coming up in August at the Greenberg Public Library, Saturday, August 20th. And a couple other people are trying to set some stuff up. Shout out to my cousin, Michelle Harris, I'm gonna be there August book for their book club, and some other people trying to get me in some other book club. But bottom line, I just wanted to thank everybody who showed up and everybody who's brought a copy of the book so far. Receiving a lot of love. Got plenty of books for those who haven't got their books yet. Shout out to Michelle Brown. Shout out to Lane Cobb from Revolution, Race Talk Revolution. Very great show, comes on Wednesdays. Very great, informative conversations. I've been blessed to be a part of it as her co-host for some of the shows. We're working on Damon coming on August 3rd, Wednesday, August 3rd. Talk about mental health and our black men and boys, which is, I think, is a great conversation, Damon, because we don't talk about mental health in the black community, period. But when we do, mental health and black men and black boys somehow do not make the conversation, and you can't have a healthy community without healthy men and boys.
Absolutely. We're as you go to Black Westchester, I think it's going to be in the next print that black men are invisible and missing in the national healthcare agenda. So not just mental health. Mental health is just part of it, but just health and period to actually address the need that we have to put an effort to address black men in health and then taking care of themselves.
Right. Michelle reminded me, yes, Race Talk Revolution comes on Wednesdays, noon to 1:30, and they stream live on Facebook, and you can see there. Shout to D. Wilson. She said, greetings, Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson, my black-tastic, powerful brothers.
What's up, D? What's up, D? Sis, how you doing?
Oh, and she said, thank you, AJ Woodson. I received my book in the mail. Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you for purchasing the book. So, Damon, we have a full show. We have a guest coming, I guess, somewhere around 6:30. Who is our guest? What are we going to be talking about?
She was supposed to send me the hey Lane, yes, I can't wait to come on. We're gonna have a great conversation. We have a great discussion. Very great discussion. Can't wait to be there.
Oh, and just so she knows that I told you, I need the name of the other guest and I need the conversation.
Yeah, you know what?
Questions. She wants to get some questions and stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah, he hasn't responded. I hit him. He still hasn't. Dr. Cedric still hasn't responded. So I'm gonna try to hit him again and see if he comes on. But our first guest, she was supposed to send me the actual pronunciation of her name, so I won't jam it up. But I didn't see it in my text message, or maybe I missed it. But I'm going to take a stab at it. JaQuitta Robinson, who is the CEO of Extreme Couture Cosmetics, and I wanted to come on because she has a plant-based line of cosmetics.
Wow.
And I think we have to really discuss putting chemicals on our face and just buying products. And the lack of products for black women. Like they're trying to gear a lot of cosmetic products, but in my little 54 years on the planet, it's not new to hear black women talk about how it's hard to find different shades, that actually match their skin tone and complexion, and also of thank you, Latanya. Thank you. Love you, sis. Love you. Thank you. So, I want her to come on, and talk about that and why does she have a plant-based, and what is the important to have that and cosmetics for black women in general.
That's what's up. While we're waiting for her, for everyone who doesn't know, they haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? And you've just released a few books since the last time you've been on. So I
I've
know
been
one.
working.
Oh well, yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I know one book.
That's what I've been up to, working. When you take time out, to actually fight, and be out here like we do, um, you neglect other things, you know.
Absolutely.
And then when I called the New York State Retirement and they told me the numbers, I was like, I got to do better than that. So I'm taking, I'm stepping back and I'm taking care of myself, for a change. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm writing books. The last book I wrote is the 53 Building Blocks to Be a Divine Black Masculine. Um, and I think that's that's going to be, it's going to be, I love the book. Um, it also keeps myself in check on where I need to be as a black man. But it also is, it's a good book for black men and women to read, because I think we definitely need to get back to communication between the black man and the black woman. I think it's a necessity. Um, the the marriage rate, of black families is under 35%. You know, and we were surviving through marriage. We had higher percent of married couples in slavery than we do now. Let's think about that.
Wow.
You know, a lot of people want to use racism as an excuse in the system, and all black men's in jail, and I don't think none of that comes can compare to slavery, right? Right? And you know what I'm saying? I don't think none of that. All the excuses, black men being in jail in the system, and there wasn't no worse system on black people than slavery, right? We have systematic slavery, but this was literally slavery.
Right.
And black families maintained even when black families wasn't even legal. So now we have all our education, we have all this technology, we have all material stuff, but the black family is becoming a what they call
Extinct.
it, huh?
Extinct.
No,
Almost.
what's they call the other things that they give animals? Yeah, extinct. Yeah, I was
Right.
thinking about something else. Yeah, I'm bugging. So the black family is becoming extinct. And we have to bind into notion that we don't need a man. Oh, it's part of the destruction. We need you, brothers. We do, even when we don't know it. Well, that's
Endangered. Elaine said endangered.
endangered. There you go.
Endangered
That's yes,
species. Yeah.
endangered. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank
An
you, Elaine.
endangered species.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes, yes. Endangered species, right? That's what the black family is. And we got to understand, man, if we don't have black family, we ain't got black community. And we don't have black community, we don't have black nation. And part of the reason why we don't have generational wealth is because we don't have black families, right? And that's a given, right? So, you be a single person and you struggling with 55,000, right? If you find somebody you can love and go through the rough times, and both of y'all making 55, that's 110,000. So you increased you increased your wealth, just being married. But a lot of people a lot of people don't see it that way, and we're falling into, just like Tanya said, we falling into things. I don't need a man this, and I got my own this, and I got this and that, and I got that. That means nothing at the end of the day, right? It means nothing. So I think we need to start, having a real conversation. Look at the pushback that just happened on TD Jakes, and he was pushed back, and nobody really watched the whole lecture. They just took that one snippet and ran with it. But if they would have went 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after, they would have seen he was right on point, and he was right on point with that too. So, it's a lot of things we have to address. We have to get our culture back. It's been stolen, it's been co-opted. Black culture right now, it's been co-opted. Our music has been co-opted. So we really have to uh, start pushing back on that. Yes, he was. TD Jakes was right on point. You know, and I really think we have to talk about that. So the book is, the book is geared towards black men, but it'd be good for black women to read it and give it to their black son and their and black men also. Because our communities is catching hell, man.
Another thing, we were recently on the Culturally Lit show. Another thing that you've talked about, um, the black family being an endangered species, and the black man not being in the house for whatever the reasons are, whether women feel they don't need them or whatever the reasons, is a detriment to our children. Not only our black boys who need the black men in the house, but to our black girls who don't have an example of what a real black man is. And like I used the example, my sister had the example of my dad. And when I look at my brother-in-law, he reminds me of my dad. He has a lot of the same qualities, and he's a real black man. But she had the example of what a real black man was in her life when it was that time for her to choose a spouse or a significant other. She had that example. And unfortunately some of our sisters don't get to see what a real black man is in their life. And then they end up settling for some of these knuckleheads that we have out here. And I think that's very important, and we don't talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, but even in today's culture, um, some look at their fathers as as not what's called a high value man, you know, um, because of the cultural conditioning, and broken consciousness, that a man that comes home, a man that takes care of his families, a man that's dedicated to his family, a man that believes in God, a lot of these women don't look for that. They're looking for the wrong thing. And it was a snippet where Kevin Samuels was talking to a young lady, and she was asking him about relationship advice. And he asked her, he said, do you have a father? And he said, yeah. She said, yeah. And he was like, okay, so why are you not talking to your father? She says, because his standards is higher than mine, right? In looking for men. And he said, well, why are you talking to a stranger? I'm a stranger. He said, did you graduate? She said, yeah. He said, did you graduate college? He said, yeah. He said, are you pregnant? He said, no. He said, then your father did a great job. He said, you should look for a man that's like your father instead of out here looking for what society's saying what a high value man is.
Mm.
And that was deep, because even now the culture, the ignorant culture is so strong that even young girls who have positive male image are caught up into this mystery man that's really not out there, right? He's really that mystery man that they're looking for, that this culture has put out there. He doesn't exist. He really doesn't exist. So you fall into a trap of these dudes that are fronting, that really don't have anything, and then use that broken consciousness and that culture of materialistic, to hide their low self-esteem. So now you end up with a guy that's really not going nowhere, you know, and then you stuck. So we have to, you know, we really have to address that, and it's time for healthy men to really start speaking out, and it's time for more pastors to come from behind that pulpit and start talking about black man and black woman relationships and how it works, because the black family is disappearing, and the result that we see in our community, the chaos that we see in our community is a result of that. But we're still not, we still don't want to admit it, because we want to live in this society that's even adverse to having faith in God.
It is easy to be ignorant for some. To think, to process, to use discernment is timely and requires effort. Microwave popcorn life solutions, not effective short term.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. You know, and I'm glad that TD Jakes, stepped out there. Pastor R.C. Blake stepped out there. A lot of pastors are starting to talk about it, but we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it more, man. I think if Black lives are going to matter, the Black family structure must be out front. And if the Black family structure is not out front, then let's not say Black Lives Matter, right? Let's just make something else up, because that has been co-opted by people that have their own agenda, and it really has nothing to do with Black people. It has to do with raising money.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. As you see, we are back in living color. I also took, like 2 months. I think the last show was the week before Mother's Day. And I felt like I was going to take a brief break between Mother's Day and Memorial Day, and I extended it. This is going on our 8-year anniversary, and doing this every week for 8 years. After a while, sometimes like Lane says, self-care is very important. You have to put yourself first. So I took an extended break, and now we're back. If you want to say a new season, we're here, and also, in taking my break, the July newspaper is very late, but it is coming out next week. It's going to be definitely worth the wait.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Definitely
You have a
worth.
lot of
Definitely,
great articles in there.
yes, 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 yes. Definitely worth the wait. The August paper will be on time. So, yeah. I just really I had to step back for a minute, and then finishing up the book and promoting the book. I wasn't getting the chance to finish the book because I was writing and doing the paper and doing the website every day. Dan was like, "Yo, just take time every day and start for your writing." Problem is when you do that sometimes. So some of the Black Westchester stuff got pushed to the side, but it was important. It was important to get the book out. Like it really was important to get this out as the next step in our legacy and get the story out to many people, and working with some of the libraries, to get copies in there and do some book signings. Like I said, we did Mount Vernon, we're doing Greenberg. Talking to the lady in the history department in the Rochelle Library, she brought a copy and she's trying to get something going there.
Great,
and
that's great.
Some other libraries are talking to us, and a friend of mine is trying to get me in Schaumburg, trying to get Black Westchester in Schaumburg, to archive the paper and for me to do something out there. So, this is the first of many, but this is our story, our origin story, and also somewhat of my memoir. So if you get a chance, pick it up. It's on Amazon.
I think it's a great book, man, and I think it exposes a lot of the false uh, the false rumors on what the agenda of Black Westchester uh, it was and is, and what was our intentions, because a lot of people, you know and to be a black paper in Westchester, and to talk about what we were talking about and what we still are talking about, it threatens some people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it threatens the structure, but it also threatens people that look like us, that has been taking advantage uh, of Black people for a long time. And it is what it is, and it is what it ain't.
Right.
But we still have to move forward because people have to know the truth. You know, just like I'm not sure it was a gentleman that was saying, "Oh, why are you, writing all this bad stuff, about Mount Vernon?" And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. We can't write it if they're not doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then don't do dumb shit. If you don't want us to write about your dumb shit, then don't do dumb shit, right? And then we don't have to write about it. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you're
Right.
doing things that's up to par and that's correct, then we're gonna write about that too. But if you do dumb shit, we're gonna write about your dumb shit. But don't get mad at us for what you did. You know?
I wanted to say one thing, and then our guest is here, and I'm gonna let you introduce our guest. When we started the paper and the website, we said we wanted to change the narrative of how we are portrayed in the media. So some people take that as, oh, so we're going to only just write the good stuff. But there is a lot of bad stuff in our community that needs to be exposed. There are a lot of Black leaders in our community who need to be exposed, and they should know better being Black. You know what I'm saying? And they're taking advantage, and you have to expose that. Like, not speaking about it and only writing about the happy, happy, joy, joy stuff does not get rid of the problems. So, we are putting everybody, like you said, putting a mirror in front of everybody, that man in the mirror, making them look at what's going on and educating the people, because a lot of our elected officials and our leaders depend on, they benefit from our communities being uninformed and misinformed, and we have had the audacity to inform the people, and a lot of people had a problem with that at one point. But we will talk about that later. You can read all about that.
One more thing before you bring the guests on. Maybe you want to put. We're gonna try the call-in number tonight, so maybe you want to put that in the ticker.
Okay. I tried? I was calling you when you disappeared. Did you?
Yeah, no, I saw it rang, but I had to go upstairs.
Okay. Yes, we're going to do that.
Yeah, put that in the ticker, and let's bring. Then we can bring our sister on.
So introduce her and.
She was supposed to send me the audio how to correctly say her name, and I didn't see it. So I don't want to get mad at me, if I smash it up a little bit. JaQuitta Robinson.
Oh, she's shaking her head no. Okay, so let's put her on and let's let her say what her name is. Y'all can see in the green room. She was like, no.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Good evening.
Good evening.
It is JaQuitta.
JaQuitta. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. JaQuitta Robinson, the CEO of Extreme Couture Cosmetics. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Let's give you. Hold on. Make sure you get. Hold on. Where's my applause? There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome. First time on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, what is, and we talked, and I'm like, okay, plant-based. First, before we get to that, how important is it for especially Black women to understand the products that they buy with cosmetics? Because in my little time on this planet, I've heard women complain, about cosmetics and finding the right shade and dealing with companies that really don't recognize Black women. How is it important to find the right kind of cosmetics for your face, and that's made with the right type of chemicals that won't mess your face up?
It's very important. A lot of our sisters go out and they struggle to find the right cosmetics, especially if you are conscientious of your skin and taking care of your skin. A lot of the cosmetics that you find nowadays when you go into Sephora and Ulta and all these different stores they have a lot of different chemicals in them. They're animal tested. They have so many different things in there that in the long run can A, ruin our skin, and B, can cause certain types of skin cancers later on in life. And a lot of people don't realize that they're more stuck on the emphasis of, I want the cosmetic, I want to look good, I want to keep up with the pressure of social media to maintain this huge glamorous look and look like these models. So it is very, very difficult for our women to find, the right type of cosmetics, especially, matching up different shades. Exactly. When people create makeup and they try to be inclusive for women of color, they do, but they don't know our skin tone. So they come out with these different makeups for 3 different shades of melanin, when we all know there's a full spectrum for melanated women.
Exactly. Now, what made you get into the cosmetic business?
Well, I'll tell you, when I, first, let me tell you, before being part of the cosmetic business, which is something I do, which is a passion for me, but I am a full-time cardiopulmonary practitioner.
Really?
Yes, I am.
God bless.
Thank you. I specialize in heart and lungs, diagnosis and treatment of heart and lung diseases, from neonates all the way through to geriatrics.
Really?
So, yes. So that is my main gig. And then, well, I shouldn't say that, because my business is my main gig.
That's right.
And then me working for the people is my other gig.
That's right.
So I got into cosmetics right before I actually got married. And I wasn't into cosmetics too much. And people get married, they want to get their face done for their wedding. Right. So I had this woman, I did all these consultations, and I met with all these makeup artists to come and meet with me to show me what you can do for me for my wedding day. And they all came with this big, huge case of makeup with all these different shades. And they had me looking like, you ever saw that movie, The Mask, with Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Right. So they all had these, oh yeah, I can match you up. And they just had me looking, I had this line here, and I was about 5 shades lighter than the rest of my body. And I was like, no, we need something for melanated women.
Exactly.
So I continued at that point. I found a love for cosmetics then, because I've always been beautiful. I'm beautiful without it. And I believe there's many days that you'll catch me and I do not have cosmetics on, or maybe just something simple, mascara or something. But when I do want to do it, and I want to have that nice look when I step out, I don't want to spend $500 to do it. And I don't want someone who doesn't know my skin to tell me what I should spend $500 on to put on my face. So I said, there's a void out here for our community, and I'm going to try to fill it.
I just want to, before you go on, I want to acknowledge something that you said that I wish that I heard from much more of our sisters. I am beautiful without it.
Makeup.
A lot of our sisters do not realize that they are naturally beautiful, and they really do not need the makeup. The makeup is meant to enhance a little bit of things.
Exactly.
But you have a natural beauty. And you said that, and I didn't want to just move forward on that, because I think I don't hear enough of our sisters say that. And I would love to hear that come out of more sisters.
But if you're an old time dude like me in a relationship, marriage, you tell your wife that all the time, but they still go put that makeup on, bro.
Yes, this is true, because we feel beautiful. We absolutely feel beautiful. We feel the beauty. And, but it's just a little enhancement. It's just to kind of enhance it a little bit. It's just, it's just like when a woman puts on an outfit and the outfit is gorgeous. You don't want to say to your wife, whatever shoes you put on is going to look great with that dress. Put on cowboy boots or sneakers. It's got to be the right combination of shoes. And it's the same thing with makeup. You just want a little bit of something to just make it go a little wow, a little, me personally, even though I do offer, some dramatic colors and things like that. Me personally, I'm more of a soft glam person. So this can be an everyday look for me. Where
and what do you mean? Hold on.
Okay.
Who's watching? What do you mean by soft glam?
Okay, so soft glam is a more you're keeping the natural look. Okay. So right now, this is what we consider a soft glam. My eyebrows just have a little shaping to it. I have a very light mascara, a very little bit of liner on, and some lip gloss. That's a soft glam. A full glam is when you see all the, like yesterday, if you guys look at my Instagram, you'd see I had rhinestones and pearls and the lashes and, you know, full face of glam. You know, this is just a very soft, you know, little something that's good to go for every day.
Okay.
Yeah, every day look.
Okay. And what made you decide to use a plant-based product? What's the differences from having a plant-based cosmetic line and from like going to Sephora or the ones that, you know, we usually go to as women?
Well, for me, I'll tell you, I wanted to do that because a few years ago, it started for me for health reasons internally before externally with cosmetics. And I got a health scare and my doctor said to me, you're borderline diabetic and we're going to put you on insulin. And I said, I'm not going on nobody's insulin. So we're going to have to figure this out another way. Exactly. And the doctor said, you know, you're going to have to start making some healthier choices. And these are things I recommended. I'm a big research person. So that is when I began doing a lot of research, and to each his own. At that point, I stopped eating meat completely stopped eating meat. Now I eat a little bit of chicken, but I don't eat red meat at all. I don't eat pork at all. I don't drink cow products, you know, regular milk, things like that. So I started looking into that. I stopped using the creamy crack on my hair. I don't relax my hair. I stopped doing that for a very long time. Now, I would put, I would throw a wig on. I'll put some box braids in. I would wear some extensions, but my natural hair, I stopped using because that's when I started getting to the external part. How am I going to want to internally take care of my body and eat right and cut out certain things?
Right.
And then turn around and decide that I'm going to take things that are processed with different chemicals, man-made chemicals and chemicals that can hurt me, that still can end up in my body. Because when you put cosmetics on your face, the largest pores on your skin is your biggest organ. People don't realize that. What's your largest organ? People say your heart. No, your skin is an organ, and your skin is your largest organ. And anything you're putting on your face seeps into your bloodstream. When you're putting relaxer in your hair, seeps into your hair follicles, into your bloodstream. So how am I going to want to eat properly and healthy when I'm still putting all these chemicals and things into my body? So that's what made me decide if I'm going to offer cosmetics to women and try to come up with something that's A, affordable, and B, still premium quality, where they're getting that good quality. Because sometimes people think affordable means that it's cheap quality. And for me, that's not the case. You're getting affordable, but you're still getting good quality. But I want to give you something that's not going to harm your body. That's not going to hurt you. And that's why I got into that. Even our lashes that people use, they are not real mink lashes. We have the fake mink lashes. We have a collagen lash. Everything.
And what's all right now? You gotta explain
it up a little bit.
Exactly. Because right now, me and AJ is like,
okay.
There's that. Okay. So collagen is very good for your. A lot of people mix it into their drinks and things like that. It's very good for your skin. So it's good for your skin and keeping your skin healthy. It's very good for keeping your hair healthy. And a lot of women who wear fake lashes, you have to be able to glue them to your lash, which again has chemicals in it, not ours. So once you glue it to your lash, now you're putting these lashes that have all these different chemicals and things that are infused in the fake lashes, and they harm your real eyelashes.
Oh, so that's why, let me ask a question. As a man, we know this stuff. That's why some women, when they take off the fake lashes, they barely have
any lash. Correct.
Right. Correct. They say, I'm a man. We see stuff like that.
Yes, that's why they have no lashes. So our collagen lashes, they're infused with collagen. So while you're wearing those, you're also getting a collagen treatment on your eyelashes that strengthen your real eyelashes and keep your real eyelashes healthy. We are actually the first company to have that. It's something that is going to become, yes, we are the first to have a collagen lash.
Good. That's.
So let me ask you. So in this day and an age and economy and everybody's trying to save a buck, how is the price comparative to the other stuff that's not good for us that out there right now?
So our price is competitive. I'll say that. You're not going to spend as much. You're not going to be on the low end, but how we set our businesses, we target to every different type of customer. There's different types of customers. You have your budget customer, you have your prestige customer that doesn't care what cost. They want the look, they want the cost, they do not care, they're willing to pay. And then you have your mid-range customer that is, I want the good quality stuff, but I also want to get it at a good deal. So depending on what you're looking for, we have products for every different type of budget, every different type of shopper. The difference with us is what you would go into a regular Sephora or Ulta and spend all these products is what you would spend. I'll just throw it out there. What you may spend $100 in Sephora, you may spend 70 with me. The difference is you're getting the all organic products, you're getting the cruelty-free products, and we don't only sell it to you, but we teach you how to use it at no extra cost. You get a consultation with one of our beauty consultants. So people go in the store and they go, oh, I saw this, I want this, I got to have it. They get it and they get home and they're like, now what? And they buy these products and then they don't know how to use them and they throw them in the drawer, and they all have a shelf life. Well, especially if it's organic products, it has a shelf life, they expire. So when you spend the money with us, you're saving money, but you're also getting one-to-one time with us where we schedule you to meet with a beauty consultation virtually. We go over your products, we discuss your skin type, we show you how to use the product so you're not walking around looking like a clown wearing the makeup. We want you to have a nice, natural, soft look. And if it's a special occasion, we can arrange for a makeup artist or someone in your city to come out and help you apply your products. We have relationships everywhere. And that's something you don't get. You don't get the personal one-on-one service when you go into those other places, and we offer that.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So, how has your products been received?
When you say, like, as far as my customers, how are they receiving me? Like, they're happy. We've had an amazing feedback from our clients. Right now, I'm in the process. We're getting ready to do a rebrand opening for our online store. Okay. So I've changed some things where I wanted to give back to my customers to show them appreciation. So we're relaunching. We redid our website. All the orders are going to come with like free face mask, free lip, a whole, it's like $85 worth of free stuff that you get because, you know, taking care of your skin is important before you wear makeup, right?
Absolutely.
It's like a canvas. So we're giving you all the products that take care of your skin for free so that you get the best results from your makeup. And we're doing that to give back to our customers because we've had so many people who have been really happy, who have reached out to me. Oh, your products are amazing. They feel amazing. I don't feel like I'm wearing a pound of makeup on my face. I don't feel like I don't sell the lashes that look like umbrellas over your eyes. I don't have those. You know, we want a more natural look. So, you know, if no offense to anyone watching that wears them. No offense. I will direct you where to get them though. But we have received our customers. So
what made you? Okay, this is a great. What made you not go with the trend?
Well,
because the big, you know, we see all the pictures on social media. So the big eyelashes, the big long eyelashes, has become a trend. So what made you, as a person who sells eyelashes, has a business, you know, and sometimes in a lot of places it's about the bottom line. Okay, that's what's selling. What made you say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with what I'm doing.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about JaQuitta. I have always moved to the beat. I have always moved to the beat of my own drum. And I have never been the person to follow trends. And the thing about trends is they fade away.
Right.
So for everybody who's basing their business on the trend, when the trend fades, then what comes next for your business? Now you have to restructure your business. Now you have to find a new target audience. I decided I'm not going to stick with the trend. I'm going to stick with what's always going to be there, which is always going to be a nice, natural, simple look. People are always going to want that. No matter what the trends are going to be, people are always going to want that. And I decided I'm going to stay with that. And that's been good for me because even with all so far the different trends in beauty that go like this, the beauty industry is a $300 billion industry.
Right.
Women, let me tell you, women will spend their rent to look good.
Oh, yeah, I already know.
They will. I don't
I'm
agree.
married.
I don't encourage you to do that.
He said I'm married. I already know.
Women will spend their last dollar to look good if it's something that they really want. But I don't want to take your last dollar for something that you really want when tomorrow nobody else is gonna be wearing it and you're not gonna, you know what I mean? I want to keep it something that's always gonna be around, something that people are always going to need. And that's one of the things. It's important.
So I usually do this at the end, but since someone asked, can you give the listeners, anybody just tuning in now, the name of your company, if there's a website, social media, how people can get in touch with you?
Absolutely.
About that more.
So the first thing I'm going to give you guys is my Instagram. My Instagram is Extreme Couture Cosmetics. Extreme Couture Cosmetics is my Instagram. You guys can come on my Instagram, follow us. You'll see a lot of the new products that are getting ready to come out with our re-grand opening. If you want to see any of the looks, like how some of our cosmetics look, I have a lot of reels that you'll be able to see me personally wearing looks. In the highlights, you'll be able to see some of our past customers who have created looks. We've had models who have purchased our products for photo shoots. We've had makeup artists that tag us that use our products. So you guys can really see a lot behind the scenes with the products on our Instagram. Our website is in the process of, like I said, we're getting ready to relaunch. That's coming in a couple of weeks. But when you go to the website, you'll be able to see one of our models. It's www.extremecouturelashes.com. www.extremecouturelashes.com. You have the option when you go to the website, you can subscribe to our VIP text messages or our VIP email messages. If you're on either one of those lists, when we have our re-grand opening it's about a week and a half to 2 weeks away, you will have access to shop before the public because everything is highly anticipated to sell out. Okay. So our exclusive members, anyone on that list, will have like 2 days before the public to be able to shop. And then you guys will also get discount codes and things like that. And also our VIP access members will get a goodie bag with more free products than you normally would get with your initial first product, which is like skincare mask, lip mask, a lot of accessories that we need in order to put makeup on and take care of our skin.
That's great.
Okay.
That's great. AJ?
Yeah. No, I was just sharing that on the screen at the same time.
Okay.
So people can
we
see.
got all your information. We have all your information up on the screen.
Okay.
So
now, wait, one more thing. To following that up, how can I purchase this for my wife or whatever? How can a woman purchase? Is it in the store? Do I have to buy it on the website? How do I purchase it?
So you would go for our full line of everything is on the website, the full line. So you would go to the website. Even if there's a gentleman on here that would be interested in, maybe we have gift cards, which are also on the website. So if you don't know what to get your woman, yes, if you don't know what to get your woman, your sister, your daughter, you absolutely can purchase a gift card. You can also reach out to me. You can send us an email through the website and say, hey, here's a picture of my wife. Can you help me out? And we absolutely, a beauty consultant will say, hey, this may be something that's really good for her skin tone, a really pretty color. We'll help you with that. Go to the website, gentlemen, and subscribe to our email list, because then you'll be able to get access before the public. You'll get the discount to shop and things like that.
And can you, like, if I wanted to do like a consultation, like I can hire someone to give them a consultation?
Absolutely.
Yes,
now for service. If people want to get yourself or a colleague of yours that works for the company for do you do like you do the weddings?
Yes.
And so they can call you and
yes, they can. And if it's not here in my area, so I'm in New York.
Right.
If you're not here in the New York area, we service everywhere. We have shipped to Canada, Germany, Russia, the Caribbean. I have customers everywhere. So for here in New York, Westchester County, the 5 boroughs area, we have immediate people that can get to you right away. Like I said, we work with a lot of different makeup artists all over. So if somebody from Texas were to reach out and say, hey, I'm going to buy your products, I have a wedding coming up, we have an event, we would get a makeup artist that's in that area that's affiliated with us out to you guys.
That's great.
That's what's up.
No. Thank you for coming on. Because
absolutely.
Now, is there anything we haven't asked you that you want people to know about you, your company, what you do, or anything?
Well, I want to. I don't think so. I'm a Westchester born and raised young lady, and so I'm just really honored to be here on the show, and I really appreciate you guys for coming on. When I started, one of the things I want you guys to know is on top of, I wear many hats. So I have my the cosmetics line. Like I told you, I work in healthcare, but I also like to help other people who are trying to come into entrepreneurship. So if you guys, I had a book that was published on Amazon called Secure the Instabag. If you guys are interested in just asking me questions, hey, JaQuitta, I'm interested in starting a business, or I'm interested in getting into cosmetics, any type of business. My fiance has a business that is custom items and, a 360 photo booth business. So we have different types of business. Doesn't matter. The platform of all businesses start with the same foundation. So if anybody is interested in becoming an entrepreneur, or you just don't know where to begin, you can reach out to me. I help people obtain their tax ID, LLC, get your social media started, different grants and things like that. That's something that I also love helping my people with.
Grants, that's the thing. That's what we need, some grants.
Grants. I help so many people with grants that they didn't even know existed.
Right. And see, that's the thing. I'm a writer and they think, I write this, I write that. Grant writing is a whole nother thing. That's not like writing a book. It's not like writing an article. It's not like writing a story. That's a whole nother writing.
Yes.
And totally I could do it, but for me to do it, it'll take me like 10 times longer than someone who does that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate you guys for having me on the show. I really do. I appreciate the support from everyone. It's not easy. It's not easy. It is a highly, it's a big, like I said, a market where, a lot of people were like, oh, how are you going to do this? There's so many different lines and cosmetic lines. And, my metaphor is, if you've gone to the grocery store and been down the bread aisle, there's about 60, 70 different types of bread, and all those companies are flourishing.
Right. So, and there's a new one coming too. Yeah.
Yep. So, you just have to, keep going. And I just continue to try to reach out to my people. I don't try to sway anyone to try, you should wear makeup, or you should do this, or you should be vegan, or you should be vegetarian. Everybody has their own thing that they're into and that they believe in. And I respect everybody's beliefs. But if you are interested in coming and, having the look, whatever it is, the soft glam, the big glam, the little glam. I mean, I have people who say, hey, can my daughter wear your lip gloss? She's 11. My 11-year-old daughter wouldn't wear lip gloss, but if you're okay with that, fine. Yeah, I've got something that is appropriate for a young lady. We have something for everybody.
Yeah, LaTanya tried to call in, but I don't know, it got disconnected. But she put a question up. Does the sister have suggestions for women who don't wear makeup on a regular basis? Never, but would like to know how, if she chooses.
Okay, so LaTanya, what you can do is you can go on my website and subscribe to my email list. And so that you get, because we have tips. Once we relaunch, you'll see that on there. We have videos with everyday tips and things like that. But you also can email me, and even if you have makeup that you didn't purchase it from me, but you have makeup, and like you said, you don't wear it every day, but when you are going to wear it, you don't know how, and you say, hey, JaQuitta, I have this, and this. What can I do? You can have 4 different. I can teach you how to do a full makeup look with 4 products. So you can reach out to me and say, this is what I have. Can you show me? I absolutely will do a consultation with you virtually and show you. Thank you.
Yeah, she said that she's subscribed.
I also want to throw in one thing, because I haven't really put this out there but we are also coming out with, because AJ, I see you got your beard. We're coming out with a line for men. It's going to be beard products. So we're going to have beard oil, beard shampoo, the brushes, all that stuff. So fellas, when I say we have something for everybody, we do.
Next you gotta get the bald head brothers. We need that oil and that head shampoo.
I got you.
Come on now.
My father-in-law he's from Mount Vernon, and he has a huge photography business, and he has a baldy, and I'm gonna come out with something for him. I told him, don't worry.
Now see, I've been doing the bald look forever, and then I started letting this grow a little bit, and then I would cut it all off, and then women were like, no, leave it. It looks good. So I'm trying this out. This is a new thing here.
Okay.
Usually fully bald,
Really?
So this
something
is all
for everybody.
New.
Don't worry. We got something coming for you too, Damon.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, just let me know. I'm big on that. I'm big on that stuff.
So I just want to say, my email address is blackwestchester@gmail.com. Please send me your bio and some pictures and anything else you want.
And a flyer.
I'm actually finishing.
Absolutely. I will send you the flyer, because I just have my graphic designer. I just did a photo shoot and then had the graphic designer.
Yeah, because I told you I got you.
Yes.
We got room in the paper, right, AJ?
Right, that's what I'm saying for the paper. I'm finishing up the paper
put it in the paper.
And I can do a black business spotlight or something on
you. Got it. Absolutely.
So give me everything you can give. Whatever you want to send me. Just don't worry about oversending it. Just send me everything you want to send me. Let me pick through it, and then and I'll put something in the paper. Yes.
Okay. So what I see, AJ Woodson at blackwestchester.com. That's your email.
No, just blackwestchester@gmail.com.
@gmail.com. Okay, got it. No problem.
Yes.
Well, once again, we thank you for coming on. We thank you for being a guest. We thank you for educating us on cosmetics and educating the sisters that are watching. This is what we do here, and we love to have you come back on.
Absolutely.
You get them products, them new products. Let us know. We bring you back on. We'll talk about it. We have a great conversation because I think that's part of what we do, and we got to keep people informed, and we got to support our businesses.
Thank you. You guys are very welcome, and thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. Take care.
Oh wait, and listen. So sometimes Damon be working all these doubles and triples and stuff. So sometimes he don't be here. So don't be surprised if I call you and ask you to guest host one day.
I would absolutely love that.
Something dealing with health and wellness and beauty and all that. Yes.
Listen, I am all about the health, wellness. I got the degrees to prove it, honey.
Okay,
so you call me right up. I would love to.
Because at any given day, I might not have Damon. So I know he might be going for a month. So
no problem. I would be honored. Absolutely.
That's great. Thank you.
All right, y'all take care.
All right.
Thank you. And that was our first guest. And before we get into our second guest, I'm going to play this little promo real quick, and then we're going to get into our second guest. You are now tuned into the People Before Politics radio show, brought to you by the good folks at
Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper.
Real talk for the community since 2014. Yes. We are back. You are tuned into. All right, there you go. See, Damon bring the sound effects. Now, again, if Damon's not on, don't expect. I don't have the sound effect machine, so I just need y'all to know that ahead of time. One day y'all be like, "Hey, where's my applause?" Damon ain't on that week, so anyway, we're back. We're back, coming out of hiatus. This is Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show. Going into our second hour. This is episode number 340 as we approach our 8-year anniversary. Actually, next week, the week after next, because we started August 3rd, 2014 was our first show. Our next guest is someone that I am a fan of. She is a sister that's doing the damn thing. She's holding it down. Joanne Dunn, and I'm glad we could still get her because she was on the cover of 914 Inc. She a cover girl now.
Big time. She big time now.
Yeah. So I'm happy we can still get her. Like, you know what I mean?
Here y'all go. See, y'all starting already. I didn't even get on the show 1 minute. Here y'all go.
She ain't turned Hollywood on us. No. But this sister is holding it down. She does a lot of different things. She's the executive director of the youth shelter of Westchester, but she does so much more. And I'm honored to have you on this week. Also, I already told you, you can expect a phone call to guest co-host one week when Damon's not there. I already told you that last time he was on the show.
As long as Damon gives me the side music so I can put the applause on with I got you.
Oh, you got, here you go.
Yeah, that's my mama. So
proud of you.
That's right. I told the people, make sure they join. JaQuitta Robinson, join at 6, but make sure 7 you jump on. So
Right. And I liked her. As soon as she said that, I jumped on her IG page and I'm following her. And anybody who's listening to this, who listened to it live and will watch it later, I advise y'all go follow her.
Yes, absolutely.
It's important. We talk about health and wellness, and we talk about what we put in our body, but we don't talk about what we put on our body. And a plant-based, cosmetic company. That's crazy. Like that's something we need to know more about. We need to support our Black businesses. So, I know you have someone with you. Let you introduce who you brought with you. She's in the waiting room. They're in the waiting room.
Absolutely. So, no, I'm really glad to be here today. It is Sunday. And yet, I was on vacation, but when you guys asked me to be on this show, I said, I have to be on this show because our communities are in such detriment that we have to put ourselves and stop for a minute and really put our community before ourselves. So I had to be on this show. My husband said, but you're on vacation. I said, but you know what? The work never stops. And I think about my children that'll benefit from the services or the work that I'm trying to do. So I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad that these ladies who are coming on on the show have joined me. So we'll get to talk to you guys about what we're doing. But the movement doesn't stop just because you're on vacation or you're out.
Absolutely. I agree.
You got to keep going.
I want to thank you for that too. I know you're on vacation. I'm following you on social media, so I see all the pictures and everything. So, the fact that you decided to take a break and from your vacation, family vacation. You know what I'm saying, and be on the show. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So we have Pat White. You can introduce her. Pat.
Yes, Pat White, the Pat White. You're going to get to learn Pat White. And then I think we have Reverend Smith with her as well. That should be in the back room that is joining us. And so today we're actually really glad to be here. Hi, Pat.
Hi, everyone.
Pat is on vacation too as well, but she found time and space to really be here too as well. She's at Martha Vineyards, right, Pat?
Oh, man.
Oh, so both y'all on vacation and took time to spend with us. All right.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And then we have Reverend Smith, right, Pat, who's going to be
not here yet.
That's okay. So, and if I could give some backdrop and then I'll let Pat jump in. As I became to do the work at the shelter, I'm the executive director here at the youth shelter. And while I love the work that we're doing in regards to the shelter, I honestly don't want to run youth jails for another 40 years.
I love that you say that, and you say that all the time. Explain that. I love that you say that.
Why I say that is because if we can get to the preventive side of stopping kids from coming into the pipeline for jails, that's what I want to do. I don't want to run youth jails for another 40 years, because then we're just as a part of the problem than we are a part of the solution. And so for me, it's very important that I get into the preventive space and really become into this whole continuum of care, to really work with justice involved youth and find the root causes of why they're getting into trouble, or what social deterrences are happening that are not connecting to them. And so for me, the youth shelter has evolved, right? We were just a shelter that did alternative to incarceration. And now we're involved in community alternative to incarceration. We're involved in curing violence, on a local grassroots efforts. And we're really involved in really trying to make sure that we're putting a stance up front before young people get into trouble. And so that's really what we're doing. And so when I started to do this whole community call to, AJ, you were part of the, we did a community call to action based off of the killing of the young lady here in the city of Mount Vernon, to say, like, I didn't know that lady personally, but my heart went out, right? And my thing becomes is that everybody was quick to do a rally. Everybody was quick to do a memorial. But how many people actually went to that young lady's cheerleading game, right? Like, how many young people actually can say that they did something before this happened? And so for me, that's when it became so personal that, Joanne, like, you got to get in the ready position before things happen, right? Like, we got to get into the preventive stage. And so once we started doing that, of course, I'm a woman of faith. I reverence God. God is the head of my life. My husband's a minister. And, I'm a sinner saved by grace, so I'm still a work in progress. But, one of the things I thought about is that there's a church on every corner, right? There's a church on every corner.
Don't talk about it now. You're going to get me started. Don't get me started.
I know, I don't want to get you started. But again, like, I think about it, like, there's a church on every corner, and we have hundreds and thousands of faith-based leaders in this community that we need to galvanize. And I have to tell you, I thought about my own personal journey. Like, I had lost my daughter a couple years ago in 2018, and it took me to a space where, like, I was going to church, right? I was going to church, and people would say, pray, ask God for help. And I said, but what happens when you can't pray, right? What happens when you can't even mumble a word to pray? And honestly, it was my husband that said, I'm not saying you're crazy, babe, but you need help. And for me, that's where it's at in this, is that we can run to the church for refuge, and we can run to the church for when we're in crisis. But is the church really equipped these days to handle us, right? When we're all in a post-traumatic phase, right? COVID, violence, everything. And that's where Pat White came into play. I connected to Pat White through Westchester Jewish Community Services. I've known Pat for years. Pat has always worked with the Department of Community Mental Health. Pat is a woman of faith, but she is a grassroots person. She's hyper local. She believes in connecting young people and their families to mental health services and making sure they're connected to care, appropriate care. And so when I went to Pat, I said, Pat, I've been doing these call to clergy events, and we got some out. People want to get involved. The clergy want to get more involved. They want to figure out, and AJ can tell you from the call we had, from the call to community, people said, like, hey, we want to help these young people, but we're not equipped to help them. We might hurt them more if we jump in now. And so what we've been doing now is making sure the community is equipped and has the appropriate tools and techniques and to really deploy the resources and deploy the work that we're doing, because we could either help these young people or we could hurt them even more. Right. And so Pat White came to me when we started talking about bringing faith and mental health together. Pat White said, girl, where you been at? I've been trying, the county's launched the Soul Shop initiative, and I'm going to let her take over in a minute. But it has really been for us. It has been, we need the churches now more than ever, not the bricks and mortars of the building.
Right.
We need the actual leaders to step out the building and be grassroots, to come out to not only come out, grab our kids, but also
she about to give a sermon right now. She about to
right.
You know what? Hush your mouth.
But you about to get Damon started.
I know. Because you know what? We're not good for just a Cash App and a Zelle and a Gively.
Exactly.
Our communities need us so much now. Our young people. And with all the churches that are in, particularly Mount Vernon, Yonkers, New Rochelle, Peekskill, even where I live at, we could create safety zones for people that are in crisis if we just really work together. And so, Pat, please jump in.
Sure.
Talk to us about what you're trying to do, and you guys tell me when to stop because I could talk.
I want to jump in. I want to jump in just before we get to Pat. I want to jump in and say two things. One, we interviewed Eric Adams as he was running for mayor, and one of the things he said is, you know, we fall into the stream, they go down to the end of the stream and they pull us out. Nobody ever goes to the top to stop the people from falling in. How can we stop them from falling in the stream? All we ever do is pull them out of the stream. And that's the kind of thing you're talking about. And I also wanted to say, you know, for a minute, I didn't even know you lived in Peekskill. You're always in Mount Vernon. Like, I didn't know that you didn't live in Mount Vernon. Like, that you come all the way from Peekskill. Like, I was like, I thought you lived here, like, you know, but.
And I will say this, Mount Vernon holds a special place to me because Mount Vernon is a chocolate city. And so when I think about like a place that I want to deploy everything I got, it's in this place because guess what? It's kids that are like me, that look like me, that can benefit from me. And I know that it was a woman that looked like me that helped pull me up from myself. And so for me, Mount Vernon is so special to me because it's a chocolate city. And I feel like if we don't jump into action, we're going to lose our babies, right? We're going to lose our babies. And so for me, this work is personal. I say it all the time. It's personal. Yes, I get a check. My needs are met. But for me, it is really life's mission work to be a servant and to really help people pull themselves up by their bootstraps and really get connected to care.
I want to say one more thing, and then I swear I'm giving it to you, Pat. So we just lost a brother. His name is Charles Williams. They called him Hippo. He was security guard. Now people know his famous brothers, Ray and Gus Williams, who played in the NBA. Damon's heard me tell his story. You know, we say the youth is out of control, but is it really the youth failing us or us failing the youth? The reason I'm not dead or in jail is because a lot of people older saw something in me. One was this gentleman who I tell the story all the time. Damon heard me. He rode his bike. I was cutting school. He rode his bike to my house. Had me come out of my house, knowing my father was inside. I lived on Monday. They had me come down to the large event. Told me basically, you messing up, blah, blah, blah. You need to whatever. And he said, I'm going to treat you like a man and have this conversation with you the first time. And you know what? I went back to school. This brother just passed, and I wanted to lift him up.
Absolutely.
And because of something I wrote on Facebook, their other brother actually came to my book signing and introduced himself, Damon, because he read what I wrote on Facebook. And I'm probably going to do a tribute to him. But there's a lot of people like that are the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now, and I'm not dead or in jail.
That's right.
And the youth are out of control is not the youth failing us. Is us failing the youth.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to get that out there, and I wanted to give this brother named Charles Williams, everybody in Mount Vernon High School, he was security, they know him as Hippo. So I wanted to definitely wanted to give him his love. And Pat, go ahead.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, we do need to give homage, right, to those who have lifted us up, that we've mentored, that we have followed their lead, their trail, their journey, that definitely provides the resiliency and the development of our community. And so I come to you 21 years with Westchester County government, child welfare, and then my last 19 years with the Department of Community Mental Health. I retired in 2020, August of 2020, but the work that I have been doing with the Department of Community Mental Health goes back to a model that we call Westchester Community Network, where we meet in 9 communities, our 5 cities, 4 municipalities, bringing service providers together to really kind of look at and work with our families that are struggling, and then our communities that are struggling, and then what can we do to lift our families, to resolve and to really have a solution focused approach based on the strengths of our families, based on the strengths of our community. And so part of my work with the department, now that I'm retired, I I had my exit interview. And my exit interview with the commissioner was, when are you coming back? Because the work that you do speaks volumes. You touch people. You make those connections when um, when people can't even think about the connection. My husband, he always says, Pat, you see beyond the horizon. So I see things sometimes when others can't, and
Right.
then that's when I make those connections. So let me share the work that we're doing with our faith community. Back in, I want to say back late 2019, I met with Pastor Lee Trollinger from Calvary Baptist Church and many of his members of his council, the Central Westchester Council. And the theme and the topic of that meeting had all to do with the rate of suicide amongst our youth and the rate of suicide amongst our pastors. And I said to Pastor Trollinger, I didn't realize, right, that our pastors were also struggling in pain and not being able to tap into the resources, if not within their own network, but also within the larger community. And Pastor Trollinger said to me, no, Pat, it's happening and we need to do something about it. And so at that time, myself and the commissioner of the Department of Community Mental Health, Michael Orth, we met with the group and we said, okay, we need to find out, is there a curriculum in the community? Is there some training in the community that can equip our faith leaders in ministering to those who have either committed suicide or died by, I don't even like to say committed suicide. I'd rather say died by suicide, and those with mental health issues. And not a month later, I received a call from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, who has a curriculum called Soul Shop. Soul Shop Movement is a national organization. They have a great website. And so the birth of the Westchester Faith-Based Mental Health Initiative was born, with several faith leaders across various denominations. And there is when we had our first training, March of 2020, 117 faith leaders from 19 denominations at Calvary Baptist Church. 1 week later, we're sheltered in place and the pandemic hits us all. So we had to pause. And through that, during that pause, that's when I retired. That's when Commissioner Orr said, Pat, can you come back to continue the work with Soul Shop? And that's what I did. We brought Soul Shop, the curriculum, to the virtual platform, building a soul-safe community with our faith leaders and our, our faith community, a community at large, successful. We had about 3 virtual platforms really speaking about the intersection of faith and clinical work. How does this show up? Faith leaders were then sharing with us some of the challenges that they were having with some of their congregants around mental health. Remember now, we're now in COVID. We're now in the pandemic. And what happens is the churches, as we all know, everyone closed. And so our leaders, our faith leaders, were getting so many calls from their community at large trying to get through the pandemic. And so what the curriculum does, it provides them with a a lens of how do you minister to your congregation and using the text to do that. And so what then happened was after we trained probably more than 150, I would say 150 community folks on this soul shop, then giving them tools such as youth mental health first aid, safe talk. How do you talk to individuals? How do you then bridge those who are struggling, talking about suicide, sort of mental health behaviors? And so came training, then came the opportunity to make more folks aware of what we're doing. And in Westchester, as you both know, AJ and Damon, Joanne knows this for sure. You just don't bring a training in and it's one and done. In
Exactly.
Westchester, right? In Westchester, you then build from that training, right? And we do that all the time. We build on the training, and before you know it, we've got this whole body of work that now we want to turnkey to those who need it. And so when Soul Shop came to us, they saw how we were bringing our faith leaders across the denomination, talking about the intersection of faith and clinical work, talking about how do you affirm one's faith as you're providing therapy,
That's right. That's right.
right? And then how do you recognize, how do you even recognize mental health issues and challenges in individuals? And so as we worked on doing this whole public awareness and mental health awareness, the folks from Soul Shop just got blown away by the camaraderie, the collaboration, and the organization that we were doing.
Right.
And so they went to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and said, do you think that we could develop a curriculum just for the Black church?
Mm.
And she called me and she said, Pat, what do you think? I said, what do I think? I know that our pastors will want this. I know that the congregation members would want this. I know the larger community will want this. And so through various sponsors, private donors, American Foundation, Soul Shop, WJCS, Union Baptist Church, Calvary Baptist Church, we were able to send two of our pastors. That's Reverend Swinton from Union Baptist Church, and then Reverend Dr. Frozine from Bethel Baptist Church to this training. And so I says, well, we're going to have the training. We want to host it here in White Plains. And that's what happened. We had approximately 12 pastors from across the country being trained on the Soul Shop for the Black Church at Calvary in May. And so what will happen next is that the curriculum will be turnkey, because now we have two pastors from Westchester who will now bring the curriculum to our larger body. And so the session that we're having on Tuesday is really an informational session to tell those pastors who may not know about what we're doing, and then bring them into the space where they'll learn a little bit about the Soul Shop curriculum. They'll also have an opportunity to learn about youth mental health first aid, safe talk, and other trainings. So I'm going to pause for any questions or any additional comments that I can provide.
This is very powerful. I just want to let y'all both know this is definitely needed. As Joanne said, sometimes, we go, I'm very spiritual too. So, you go to your pastor for prayer and everything, but there's some times where you might need more than that. You dealing with, you got we don't talk about mental health in our community. And as Damon says, we leave boys and men out of those conversations when we do talk about it. We can't have a healthy community without our healthy boys and healthy men. But you know, there are times when you might not want to go. You don't just need prayer. Like, prayer is very important. I believe in the power of prayer. Let me state that. Let me say, but sometimes you need something more than that. And so that's why when I'm hearing, I'm loving what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's
excellent.
this merging these two things, bringing faith and mental health together, is very powerful. And I hope that a lot of our, especially Black pastors, take advantage of this.
Please.
You know, and I will be doing I'm calling my pastor tomorrow to see if he knows about this. You understand what I'm saying? And I want to make sure I'm sending him the flyer and everything. I want to make sure our pastor knows about this.
Yeah.
We need to, and everybody who's hearing this, we need to make sure your pastor, ask your pastor if they know about this. We need to make
Exactly.
sure. Yes.
Exactly.
I think what was so key too. I'm sorry, Damon. I think what was so key when I spoke with Pat and learning about like how Soul Shop came around, and then also understanding, I'm not sure if everyone heard, but also understanding that pastors were silently dealing with their own issues. And I think that, to me, that became the most critical pieces of this, is because a lot of times people will look at their pastor for guidance or for direct, help. And yet your pastor silently may be dealing with their own traumas, issues, or whatever. And so to have this safe space, safe talk, safe space, where pastors can also triage their past traumas or mental health or whatever that is, it's critical, because as they lead, people will follow, but they have to make sure that they address their own issues. And so for me, this became a triangle effect, not only just bringing faith and mental health, but now bringing community into the fold, so that way we can have this whole three-prong approach, because without community, it has no movement, right? Without community, there's nothing that really unites us together to keep it going, to be a real movement beyond just training. And so it was critical that we get involved.
Yeah, I want to thank y'all for that effort. I was listening, and it brought me back to a lecture of Pastor R.C. Blake's, where he talks about Jesus's healthcare practices, right? Where he actually was about mental health, and he goes into a whole lecture of what Jesus was doing. But I also think that pastors need to be educated, right? Because we also have to get beyond the pulpit, just like you said, but also beyond just preaching the spiritual and understanding that there's a mental capacity when people come into the church, and what they're dealing with. We could dance, we could sing, we could tap the tambourine, but after we come from church, we're dealing with those issues, on day to day. And being Black, Jesus Christ, you're just dealing with a whole bunch of issues outside of that. So we have to, and I'm glad we're having this conversation, and I'm glad that pastors are actually coming on board, because when you talk about mental health, you also got to talk about holistic living, right? Because that's part of that's part of mental health, the food that we eat. You know what I'm saying? That plays a role in our mental health and how we think, and even in our spirituality. So, I'm great that we're having this conversation, now, because it's needed right now. Because a lot of people are going through a lot. Black men are committing suicide at a rate that is crazy, and nobody's really, and the mainstream media is not even talking about, the mental health issues of Black men.
Yes, let me speak to several of the points that you just made, Damon. Pastors are not therapists.
Right.
And so so think about it, when your congregation and or the community comes to the pastor with all of their own personal challenges and struggles, that pastor then is trying to triage all of that and it becomes like a secondary trauma, if you
Like,
will.
and they're carrying
Right?
their own vicarious trauma. Exactly.
That's correct. And so through this initiative, we have also started to assist those churches that want to build a Christian counseling center, a Christian counseling ministry. And so it does go beyond the text, right?
Right.
It does go to, besides mental health, what else is there in the community that is causing some of this secondary trauma?
Exactly.
And so these ministerial counseling centers are now building their own, which I think is beautiful. They're building their own resource data network, if you will, and then tapping into the resources that the county and other not-for-profits can provide. And so that's what they were sharing with us in those 3 webinars that we had back in 21. How can we build these ministerial and counseling centers? And so we brought together some of the pastors, some of the faith leaders, and our mental health community. And then that's when we started to identify some training that we can then introduce to their congregation. And that has been going very, very well. Just recognizing what mental health looks like. And then what can you do to then pass this baton? So what then happened was the pastors and the faith leaders were saying, okay, we've now recognized it, but when we pass the baton, not always are the clinicians ready to receive one who is affirmed in their faith.
That's
right? So now we're now in the process of building a faith-based directory of therapists that are faith affirming. And then we'll be providing some training to those therapists, right? So that when the Christian counseling centers begin to pass the baton, because now they're saying those individuals need more, right? You said it earlier. They need more. Then how? So what can we do so that when they receive those additional supports, they won't be shunned, they won't be like ignored? Maybe that's not the right word, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
And so that we're in the process of doing that now, and the plan and the goal is to launch the directory in September during Suicide Prevention Month. So the plan, let's say for the next several months, beginning with our Tuesday call to clergy, building a soul safe community, continuing the work that we've been doing since 21, and that is providing a menu, if you will, of various resources, trainings, and workshops for our faith community and our mental health clinicians, so that everyone can begin to really address what's in the room. And we know that stigma is big in our community.
Absolutely.
And so how do we break the stigma?
Absolutely.
And we also know that our churches are the center of everything in our life. Now, when we think about the history of our churches, as it even relates to whole social justice movement.
Exactly.
That's where, right? That's where all the social justice advocates will come together and then begin to plan and strategize on how we can rid of the ills that our community is facing. And the history of our churches even goes beyond 1619. I mean, the history of our churches go to the continent of Africa.
That's right.
Right?
Come on.
Yeah. And so we then bring it forward, here we are, 2022, and our pastors are the pastors that I have been speaking to are ready to receive this information.
Yeah.
When you can bring 119 people, 19 denominations in one
That's beautiful.
building to them, one of the activities that they had to do was write a short sermon using the word suicide.
Mm.
When you think about it, pastors don't, and I'm not saying all pastors, but that's a hard word to use.
Right.
We know our pastors have had to minister to family members in their church where someone has died from
Yes.
suicide, and or families that are dealing with mental health issues. And so that activity, just that activity alone, was resonating.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to a lot of trainings, but just that one short activity just shook me to the core. And then I said to myself, okay, Pat, you got to continue this work, not even knowing, right, that the pandemic was going to shut us down for
Right.
2 years
Right.
and more. But, we're ready for it. We haven't really, and I'm going to be really transparent. We
Sorry.
haven't really received any like negative, no, we're not doing that. No, we don't believe in that. No, pastors are saying we want it.
Because they
Pastors
see
are,
it.
because
They
it's
see it.
new.
They see it.
They see it. They do.
They see it.
They see it and they want to help.
And even if they haven't seen it in their own church, Pat, I think that our communities are in such turmoil that even if they haven't seen it in their body of parishioners, they've seen it surrounding what's happening. And that's why I think pastors are really now saying, what can we do? What can we do?
And we got to teach. We had to. I was being interviewed. I was being interviewed about one of my books, and I talk about fighting anxiety and depression. And the lady that was doing the interview, Sister Claudette, was doing the interview, and she told me that she's also a hairdresser, and she said one of her clients told her husband wanted to seek counseling, and the wife literally called him a punk because he wanted to go to counseling. We have to break the stigma in the Black community, about seeking professional help if we feel that we need it. Because if a man is, and his own wife is looking at him like he's a wimp, because he wants to go to counseling, God knows it. I hope he did, but what if he does commit suicide?
Yeah.
And she's not seeing the sign, and she's not seeing the signs.
Yeah.
And she's looking at him as being weak instead of being strong and saying, listen, I have some type of mental, I want to go seek some type of counseling and get some help because I feel something's wrong.
I'm going to give it to Pat after this, but Damon, I think also too, when we think about our communities, one, we not only have to destigmatize mental illness and getting access to care, but I think also understanding, like I say to my young people here all the time at the youth shelter, that just like you say, how we have to take care of our bodies, we have to eat right. Mental health can become mental illness if we haven't taken care of ourselves.
Exactly.
And so it's very important that we understand our triggers, we understand our traumas, we understand things that can knock us off, because life has a way of throwing you variables that'll bring you into a mental illness very quickly.
Exactly.
Right? And so you're stuck with depression, anxiety. And so how do you understand your triggers, and how do you understand? And I think also to that point, I work with young men here at the shelter. Predominantly everyone I work with is young Black men of color. And, one of the things that we're trying to do is trying to change, not necessarily where they receive, not necessarily how they get help, but where they receive help. And so infusing mental health. Now we do a cuts and combo series with the Westchester Barber Academy. So young people, while they're getting a haircut, can talk about, a topic or things that we're dropped. And I think that we have to start thinking of places and spaces that are safe for our communities, because like for us, I know when I go to my hairdresser, she get everything from, what's going on with me and my husband, to the job, to everything. And I think that we have to think about places and spaces that have become the culture and normal for us to be able to unrobe. And that's where we can really infuse some more mental health resources and access, because those are points of access that we're missing or that we haven't connected to appropriately.
Exactly.
So true. The Black Caucus down in DC, they commissioned a report called "Ring the Alarm: The Crisis of Black Youth Suicide in America," and so it's something that you definitely get online, and it's something that you should definitely take a look at. But they have several recommendations that we've all just talked about. One in particular is funding, right? So it's important. It's important to to do this kind of work. You do need some funding, and that funding brings attention, right, to the issue. It's a public health awareness. It's a public health campaign, and you can't do a public health campaign without funding.
Exactly.
Right? Number one. And then the funding also provides the opportunity to do research, right? So when this report was written, one of the things that was so glaring was that the rise in suicide amongst our Black youth, there was really no research in terms of, well, how do you know that? Number one. Number two, what are the root causes of that? And so by and it's just not research, Damon, right? It's research that has a cultural lens.
Exactly.
It has an Afro. It has to have an Afrocentric foundation for it to really break barriers, right? So then you have that, and then through the funding and the research comes what they call demonstration projects. Like the barbershop would be a great demonstration project, because that's where we know all the brothers and sisters, because I go to the barbershop too.
That's right.
I
go to the barbershop.
That's when they talk and they have those conversations. This is the best conversations that one can have. And it's the barber. It's the barber, right, that then speaks the pearls of lessons. Then it's the old heads that's there. And then these young people are sitting at their feet, sitting at the feet of the elders. And the demonstration project can be at the barbershop, because they think that demonstration project, right, with literacy in the barbershop. And so flooding the barbershop with books for kids to pick up and read while they're waiting to get their hair cut. And then promoting best practices. So the best practices that we're talking about is the Soul Shop for the Black Church, is the Soul Shop community, a movement rather. It's the Safe Talk, it's the Assist, it's the Youth Mental Health First Aid. And then not only that though, it's also training the therapist to become culturally sensitive and using equity in that space. And then of course community engagement and awareness, which we're talking about, having a database with resources, etc. And then engaging our state and local and our federal government. And Westchester, I have this saying called Westchester is the best Chester. Right, I coined this from the Black social workers when they used to go to the national conferences, and they would always come back and say, Westchester is the best Chester. Well, that's because, again, as I talked about it earlier, we're not a one and done county. We really want to do the root cause. We really want to do the response to providing the best possible solutions. And even our Project Alliance and mental health in our police department, those are demonstration projects that we've been talking about for years. We see it happen in the community. And so now we were able to get that funding. So here it is, funding. Here it is, a demonstration project to look at mental health and our police and how do we best respond, and then that 988, new 988 number, so that we won't have those tragedies that we all are familiar with. And so you know, and the ongoing work. So we do have in Westchester County, we do have a suicide prevention task force. One of the things that we will be rolling out in September is a remembrance garden, naming and acknowledging, AJ, you talked about giving homage and acknowledging those that have died by suicide, and placing their names in this remembrance garden. And so, you know, the work is hard, but we're all committed. See, that's the common denominator here. We're all committed to building our community so that our young people can have a better life. Think about it.
Right. You know, I think it's key to look at how police respond to mental health issues. We're still, I mean, the only department that's actually trained in dealing with mental health is the Westchester County Department of Corrections. We go through yearly training. The 43 municipalities, they might have it in the academy, but they don't have yearly training in dealing with mental health. That has been one of our discussions and arguments with local municipalities and the county to make that actually a requirement, because we've saw a couple of incidents and shootings of officers responding and not understanding, and then the mental health of the officer.
Of course.
You know, listen, I'm 33 years in correction. I could, if I go to a psychiatrist, she might put me in a gown and happy feet because of the things that I've seen in my career, or the things. My wife is a detective in Mount Vernon. The things, you know, if you come up on a scene and see a dead baby in the freezer, like, you don't think that's going to affect you mentally when you're seeing these type of incidents every other week or every day and every week. So we have to really discuss that too, and to get officers help outside of the box, because a lot of times with these type of jobs, it's the stigma too, you know, and they have to be able to go outside of the department, because you can't go through the department because it tends that your business get out there, right? So we got those are the other things we got to look at. How do we help officers?
Right. So
they need it too.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, the county is beginning to address that, right? So they've created these new mental health response teams where they now have social workers on the teams which they didn't have before, except with the exception of White Plains and Yonkers. And so now they have social workers and a social work and a clinic that's connected to the police departments. And then there's a lot of training that also comes with that. But you're absolutely right. It's important work. And Damon, you've been talking about this work for years.
Thank you.
You know, there's people that, you know, you've been talking about this for years.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, but you know, you've been sounding that alarm for a long time, and so people are listening, man. People are listening, and beginning to acknowledge the work that you do, AJ, and certainly Joanne, the work that you're doing with our young people. I'm excited about this work.
We're excited
People
to
say,
have you, Pat.
yeah, people say,
That's
Pat, why
beautiful.
you know what, Pat, why you, you retired, why you back? Eh, I'm in front of 112, because I go into work a couple of days a week, and they'll say, Pat, you back? Pat, I thought you retired. I said, you know what? Yes, I am retired, but I'm continuing the work that I have the most passion about,
Right.
and
Exactly.
that is to bring those resources to our larger community, and it's all about building our community as best we can, and the Westchester Community Faith-Based Initiative with our various church partners. Grace Baptist Church. We have Minister Kim Cruz is part of that initiative. Um, and then there's Calvary, there's Bethel Baptist Church, there's Union Baptist Church. There's also the First Presbyterian up in Yorktown. We have our Rabbi Alfredo. So we have, and then we have our mental health clinic. So, and then we have our not-for-profits like NAMI, National Association of Mentally Ill, and the American Foundation for Suicide
WJC.
Prevention, and WJCS, Westchester Jewish Community Services, doing the work, working in a collaborative way, bringing that intersectionality of faith and clinical work to our space to equip our pastors and our community leaders with the resources to help.
Hmm.
So that's the work that I'm doing, and proud to do it.
Yeah.
We had a one comment or question from Latanya. She
Mm.
says, Sister White, Rockland County needs you. Uh, can you put your contact information in the chat, please? And I wanted,
Okay.
we just lost Damon for a second,
I'll say,
and I wanted to say, the report that you were talking about, the Ring the Alarm, Black Youth Suicide America, that you can Google it. I just Googled it while you said it, and it pops right up. You can Google it, and I put a link in the chat about that as well.
Latanya,
Excellent.
I actually might have someone who I can connect you with too in Rockland County that's doing this work, hyper local. She actually reached out to me when I posted about bringing faith and mental health together from Westchester County and the work that we're doing. She actually reached out to me and shared with me the work that Rockland County is trying to initiate. So I think also beyond Pat White, we also can connect you with someone who's hyper local in Rockland County that is trying to get this work off the ground. And so I just want to share a point too, really quickly. I think beyond the faith-based communities, what's important is that what we've learned with COVID normalized a lot of things that weren't normal, right? So we
Hmm.
didn't know that we were overnight going to go virtual and we were going to work from home and do schooling. But now it's kind of like in our norm, not normal for me because I hate working and homeschooling my children at the same time. But I think COVID normalized a lot of things that we didn't think were normal. And I think a lot of us found connections or resources that we didn't think that we had. And the government, along with funding, along with resources, started to deploy a lot more efforts. And I think that when we think of this mental health crisis that we're in, we have to start to look at it in the same breath as like gun violence is a pandemic, mental health is a pandemic. And if we don't start to normalize certain norms and change the culture and change the conversation around it and changing how people get connected to care, it will continue to be a pandemic. And I think for us at the youth shelter, why it was so important, people will say, well, you work with young people and they're in trouble. Why is it so important you get into this work? Because I also live in a community, right? And I also understand that as a community person, I like to be of service. I like to help. And so when we got to the work that we're doing, it said, not only do we want to make sure pastors are equipped, because I know for churches are usually the first people run to when they need help, right? Even if it's for your rent or you need something, you're running to the church. But I think for me, it was so important to get community advocates and community members who don't mind being boots on the ground to get them equipped with safe talk and youth mental health and all those things. Because beyond the church, right, when one leaves the church and say they leave the church, where are they going to go in the community that connects them, right? And so for us, it's important to make sure that we had this whole continuum of care for that people, if they needed help or they needed resources, that our community was really ready to deploy it. And that our community members, youth advocates, people that really are champions of change in their community and want to rally up and get things done, to make sure that they had the tools in their toolbox to really go to work. And so beyond the pastors, beyond, we're calling everyone. We're calling everyone. Pastors are our first call because they're a body that's already in motion. But beyond pastors, we're calling everyone. If you want change in your community, you want to be a part of the change, and yet you say, I don't know what I need, but I need help, and I want to make sure I have the undergarments to really go out here and do this work, please call us. Please get involved, because that's what we're doing. While Pat White is leading the mental health, I am actually coordinating this whole coalition group, to expand our reach, to expand our efforts, and really to make sure that people are really getting connected to care, and that we're normalizing these conversations and these connections for people to get care and to get the resources that they need.
I just want to say, and we've had this conversation, we find out there's pockets of us everywhere. But you know what I'm saying? Just pockets of us. And it's just like, one of the reasons I got involved when you made the call, I was gonna be there anyway because you made the call. But what I like is that you were bringing everybody together. Right. We were connecting everybody, and and you and I have gone to some other meetings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is
like together. Got in the car. That's right.
Right. Yeah. Someone just had a meeting here, and someone just had a meeting here, but no one is connecting the efforts of what everybody is trying to do. And it's just like one hand don't know what the other hand's doing.
We can no longer live in siloed operations.
And one of the things you said to all of us in the call that you wanted to spearhead and bring everyone together, and like that moves me. You know what I'm saying? And it was something missing. And me and David and Bob going to these meetings for the last 8, 10, how long many years, and same thing. And this one group starts, and you never hear no more. And and that was another thing you said you didn't want it to be that. So for people listening, how do they get in touch with y'all? Is there a website, social media, numbers, emails?
Yes, you definitely can reach me. I'm Joanne Dunn. I'm at the youth shelter. I'm everywhere, but via email at jdunn@ysow.org. I'll put my information in the chat, but you definitely can reach out to me. You definitely can call me, email me, and I'll get connected. Because I think one of the things, like AJ said, we're in this work together, right? No man's an island, and we can't continue to say we're a community and we never unite, and we never bring all of our resources to mobilize our impact, to mobilize our footprint. So for me, it's about bringing all these resources together under one umbrella. And so I had to go out and get Pat White, the Pat White. I had to go out and get her because it's someone who's experienced. She also is she's a Black woman. She can talk about this work and know about the real impact that it can have on changing the trajectory of someone's life if they really get connected to care. And so I'm just excited about that, the work that we're trying to do. And we're really pleading with everyone to join this wave with us. It's it's not a moment, it's a movement. And we got to stay in the movement, and we have to be what we say here at the shelter. We have to be 10 toes down, deep in it. And so that's what we want, and that's who we need.
Yes. So Pat White, my email is in the chat, pwhite1220@gmail.com. Email me. We can have further conversation. I'm inviting everyone to the to our information session on July 26th at 6:00. You'll hear from our pastors who have gone through the Soul Shop curriculum. You'll hear from how our faith leaders within our initiative, how they're building a soul shop, are building a soul safe community as we move through the pandemic and beyond. So thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And we're also offering here in the city of Mount Vernon, August 16th, August 17th, we're offering a free youth mental health first aid training. for those who are interested, the registration. I will share the flyer with you, AJ and Damon, and maybe you can put it up on your website.
Absolutely.
People will get the training they need. They will be equipped as, not necessarily mental health specialists, but like Pat said, to identify when someone's in crisis, right? To identify when someone is in need of help. And so that youth mental health first aid training is really the first step for individuals to be keen on, to spot when people are in crisis. And so that is a free training. Westchester Jewish Children's Service or Community Services is offering that training for us. The United Way of Westchester Putnam has put the funding behind it to make sure that everyone comes, has food, refreshments, dinner. They are also funding our community coalition. So this work that we're doing, it really is embodying community and really a lot of resources and a lot of people behind the scenes to really make sure that we're out there and really making sure the community gets exactly what they need. And our first step is really just equipping. We don't want to deploy any resources yet until we understand that people are equipped to really go out and do this work.
So can Rockland residents come to the training?
We probably can get one in Rockland, so stay tuned. I'm sure we probably can get one in Rockland. So LaTanya, please reach out to me. I can connect you to the woman in Rockland County, and I'm pretty sure that we can get a group a training in Rockland County.
Absolutely. One of the other things too that that we're going to do is we're going to have the Safe Talk training at Mount Olivet Church in Peekskill in September. So date to be determined, but we will make that announcement, and AJ will be sure to get that flyer to you and Damon so you can post it onto your website.
This is the beginning.
I definitely want to take advantage of the training part, even as a journalist, and I interact with a lot of the youth, and I get asked to speak to a lot of the youth. I think just we need to prepare ourselves as much as possible, and it can help me, and when I'm articulating certain things in stories and stuff, with that, understanding and preparation. So I definitely will be part of the training, and I'm definitely going to take advantage of that.
I'm just humbled and grateful to be able to have this conversation with the two of you. Joanne and I, as she has stated, we've known each other for years and years, but we are now on a mission to bring the information to our people. So thank you so much.
That's right, because I think we march and rally about a lot of things, but we don't rally about mental health in the Black community. We don't put that in the forefront. I mean, police brutality is great. It's a great fight that you need. Justice is great, but we also have to rally around the mental health of our community, because that's what we see every day. That's what we're exposed to every day, and we need to have that. We need to have that conversation. We need to have that hard conversation. And I'm great. It's good to see the pastors, because they're the messengers.
They are.
They're the messengers, and if they get on the right track and start talking about it, not being scared to talk about it from the pulpit, and just like you said, be able to link mental health with the scriptures, I think they will definitely get more people, and have the resources, to send the people in the right directions. I think that's wonderful, because that's definitely what's needed, especially for our youth, because they're going through a lot.
They are.
They're going through a lot.
Shout out to LaTanya mentioned Tina Davis. Yeah, we interviewed her. She spoke at Damon at one of the Ron Daniel meetings we went to. Remember, she was speaking about incarcerated women. Remember that? I think that's who she's speaking about, Tina Davis. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, just coming out of hiatus. This is our first show back. Thank you for all who have held us down as we approach our 8-year anniversary. Thank you. As always, I promote everybody else's stuff. Get your book. Black Westchester.
Get your book.
Yeah, get your book. Hold on. Oh, I got
Damon, where's your book? Put your book up. Get your books, people.
Right. And Joanne, you still got to pick your book up.
Don't tell the people, but I think
you got. This is Black Minds Must Matter: The Fight Against Anxiety and Depression, and Being the Best Versions of Ourselves. And what's key is I said on the bottom, it is essential to address anxiety and depression through a Black lens while teaching Black people to love themselves. So,
Yes.
Yeah, right. You may have to give Damon a plug on the call on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is Strategies of Self, Understanding Yourself for Success. Then I got my juicing book, Eating Clean and Juicing to Live. And the empowering benefits of detoxing, cleansing, and eating clean.
I mean, when do you find it's time to write all these books?
Yeah.
I just want to know. I don't have time to write
and the last book is the 52 Building Blocks to be a Divine Black Masculine. Black men understanding their spirituality, their mental health, and their divineness. That's the last book. And it's
Wow.
like this. So
That's good.
but I can't, I can't talk about, where I write the book at. Too many
Chinese
watch.
secret. Yeah. But thank you all for tuning in. As you see, Damon is back. We missed him, and get used to seeing Joanne, because I already told her before I'm gonna bring her on as a guest co-host as often as possible. So
I'm game. Listen,
yeah.
I'm game. I'm all in.
No doubt.
Great.
Thank you for everybody who tuned in. This will be posted on Black Westchester by the end of the day or whatever, and you can also rewatch it on Facebook and YouTube. This has been Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show. Giving you real talk for the community since 2014. And until next week, peace.
Peace.
You are now tuned into the People Before Politics radio show, brought to you by the good folks at
Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper.